Have you ever felt like you're being pulled in two different directions or caught between two extremes, like wanting something so badly on the one hand and simultaneously fearing that it's not going to happen or it won't happen fast enough? Well, what if I told you that there's a way to find balance, not just in your mind, but in your body and in your life? So in this video, I'm going to share one of the principles that I learned from Sifu Mizner and 5 lessons that we can apply and how it's actually informed not just my Tai Chi and internal arts training, but even more profoundly influenced my understanding of its relevance to all aspects of my life, most notably spiritual realization. Now, the important thing to note here is that realization implies that it's real. It's not a belief, it's not a theory, it's not a concept, it's a lived reality that becomes expressed in our bodies and in our lives. So as you can see, I'm wearing my Heaven Man Earth t-shirt here. Love this shirt. It's been around the world with me a number of times. Been to Thailand twice, Costa Rica once. It's worn, as you can see, from many hours of training arduously in the heat. And I always feel a sense of pride when I wear this shirt because it reminds me of the connection that I have cultivated to this lineage and system, as well as the great men that I've had the privilege of learning from, studying under, and being transformed by the mere gift of being in their presence. So true greatness is rare, and the capacity to actually have the opportunity to be in the presence of and learn from a truly great being is something that I've had the pleasure of and honor of experiencing multiple times in my life. And it's a very rare thing. There are, people who excel in business, let's say, or they're great in relationships. Maybe they've attained a high level in certain areas of their life. But a truly great being is rare. This is someone who has not only become excellent in one area, but they've integrated these profound realizations to a depth that is remarkable. And you feel it just being around them. Something gets transmitted. Just as I assume being in the presence of pure evil would also have that influence on you, but in a negative, in the opposite way. So I say this just because a lot of people seem to think that, we're all just kind of operating on the same playing field, and some people are a little better at certain things and a little worse at others. But there's a level of attainment that is so remarkable and rare that it gives the person this capacity of brilliance. It shines through their energy for those who have the capacity to see it and experience it. So in any case, the principle that I wanted to talk about is Zhongding. Now, this is a concept or a term that is loosely translated as central equilibrium, balance, okay? But it's actually much more than just balance in your emotions, your relationship, success in life and things. It actually has a much deeper and profound meaning because we live in a world of infinite polarity. That's what this entire world basically consists of. We have all these extremes. We have action and surrender. We have lack and abundance. We have the limited egoic selves and the unlimited self, the infinite self, we could say. There's up and down. There's silence and then sound, thinking and not thinking. And so true balance is a felt experience. Again, it's real. You get to experience it in your body when you attain it. And so this is the first lesson, is that balance is not a concept. It's real. When you find it, you'll feel it. It's kind of like, riding a bicycle. If you were to study about riding a bicycle, you could read 10,000 books on riding a bicycle. You could become an expert, in a sense, about riding a bicycle. But if someone asked you, what does riding a bike feel like? All that you would have is your mental abstractions, your concepts. It wouldn't translate into skill. In order to have the skill, you have to have the understanding. And in order to have the understanding, you have to actually do it. So the second lesson I want to talk about is this pathway that we call the middle path. It's the balance of these two extremes, these yin-yang differentials. And so this balance, when we find it, it dissolves the tension of the opposites. And we actually feel this release of tension. It's a very quiet and centered, experiential, we could say peacefulness, contentment arises out of this space, a sense of trust, a sense of alignment that is felt. And with any of these differentials that I mentioned and the infinite many, many others that exist in this world, in this universe, each one has a balance point. And as we start to connect each one of these balance points, it becomes Zhongding. It becomes sort of a column, we could even say, a dynamic column of balance that gets expressed in our actions, in our words, in our body, in our minds, and in our spirits. The third lesson is that inner stability creates outer harmony. So it's not just about feeling good. It's not just about cultivating a sense of internal balance for your own enjoyment, but this actually translates into an experience of life which is expressed in balance. So your relationships naturally become more harmonized. Your work life becomes more harmonized. Your sense of connection deepens. And the next lesson I'd like to talk about here is just pain as a pathway to balance. So pain, anytime we're experiencing discomfort or extremes, these can actually be teachers. They can be reminders that we have found a place where we need to grow, a place where we need to let go and release that extreme. Something that can help us be like an alarm bell in our minds that, oh, I'm off center. I need to come back home. I need to come back to center and find the balance point so that I can experience deeper alignment. Now, the fifth lesson that I'll mention is this capacity to have Zhongding in application, right, in action. So when you feel stressed or like you're slipping behind, you can pause and ask yourself, am I pushing too hard? Do I perhaps need to rest a bit, come back to center, or am I avoiding necessary action? See, again, these are both extremes. If I sedate, if I, avoid the things that are difficult, that's one extreme. And if I overwork and constantly just drive, that's another extreme. We want to find the balance point, and when we do, we find inspiration. So it's not about doing less, but doing from this place of being that becomes empowered action. It translates into a profound energy that gets expressed in everything that we do and say. And it has much, much greater impact. We become magnetic. Work becomes play. Stress dissolves. And the opportunities and success that we are seeking start to become magnetized to us. You'll find that doing flows naturally when it's rooted in the power of non-doing. So just remember, you're not slipping behind. You're on your own timeline. Every moment of reflection, rest, and alignment is preparing you to take the next step. And you'll take those steps with greater clarity and greater power. So I'll ask you a question. What's one area of your life that feels out of balance? And what would it look like to create harmony in that area? How do you think that would feel? Now, if any of these lessons resonated with you, I encourage you to start feeling Zhongding in your own life. Find places where you can sense out of balance and see if you can bring yourself back into centrality. Because when you're caught between these two extremes, life becomes stressful. Enjoyment diminishes tremendously. And then we'll seek relief and escape through, needing to go on that vacation, needing to just get away from it all, needing to get space. Whereas when we find ourselves centered, then we find unlimited motivation, unlimited power. So I dive deeper into these principles in my Embodied Men program, where we explore how to create balance and alignment in every area of your life. So keep an eye out for that. The official launch is going to be in 2 weeks. You can go to embodiedmen.com and find out more about that. And that's pretty much it for this video. It's been a pleasure sharing these things, what I've learned. I have incredible honor and respect for all of my teachers. So shout out to all of the friends and comrades in the Discover Tai Chi and Heaven Man Earth system. I look forward to seeing many of you next month in Thailand, and we'll continue on this journey of self-evolution and empowerment through the practices of internal arts, meditation, and spiritual realization. So until next time, my friends, have an amazing holiday, and I love you all.